Cantor, CEO of Cantor Consulting Group. I want to welcome you to my short webinar on 3 critical problems shared by many IT leadership teams. In the next several minutes, we'll identify these common problems, discover the real cause of them, and offer you a simple approach on how to address them. Does your IT team have any of these 3 critical problems? They're working long and hard hours but not getting enough done. They're not completing key projects and initiatives on time or even at all. Or they're not identifying and delivering innovative new technologies and services. If yours is like most IT organizations, many of your teams struggle with these challenges. According to a recent corporate executive board study, 77% of the respondents believe that speed in IT is important to their ability to enter new markets and launch new products quickly. However, 63% of those same respondents feel that their organization responds too slowly to exploit these opportunities. Recently, the Wall Street Journal reported that an IT project management failure cost Neiman Marcus over $35 million in lost sales and actually led them to cancel their planned IPO. The McKinsey report states, quote, "We know that 70% of business change programs fail to achieve their goals," unquote. And Michael Krigsman, who's an industry expert in project management, cited a similar statistic in his ZDNet blog. And he wrote, "It's a sobering statistic. Nearly 70% of IT projects fail in some important way, putting the economic impact worldwide at $3 billion. He goes on to say that that corresponds to about 5% of the global GDP, and that it's a universal problem. Setbacks span the public and private sectors, occur in all industries, and often result in substantial economic and productivity losses." Helping IT leaders address these issues is my work and my passion, and I've been doing this for over 30 years. I've worked for companies like KPMG, Lotus Development, and Ciba-Geigy in roles that included IT management, software product management, and applications development. I've also worked with over 60 companies as an IT executive coach and management consultant, helping over 400 senior IT leaders and their teams get more done in less time, improve project outcomes, and create more organizational time and capacity for innovation. I've worked with senior IT leaders in many of the world's best-known companies across multiple industries, including financial services, high-tech, life sciences, and consumer products. And I've even worked with smaller companies, including a $25 million consulting firm and a $250 million specialty steel manufacturer. So what is your real problem here? Is it managing technology, or is it really about leading people? After 30 years of seeing the same problems occur over and over again at so many companies, I believe that we pretty much know how to manage technology, and that the root cause of the issues we're discussing here is that we do a pretty lousy job of leading the people in our IT organizations and working effectively in teams. Why is that? I believe it's because we promote our best tech subject matter experts into leadership roles and then wonder why they and their teams are not meeting our expectations. The bottom line is, these managers lack the critical soft leadership skills that are so hard for many tech wizards to master. So they miss target dates, blow budgets, fail to innovate, and they and their teams are busier than ever. So what's the solution? The solution is to provide cost-effective professional development to our senior IT leaders and teams, mainly via one-on-one executive coaching and group coaching of those leadership teams. Based on this survey from CIO Magazine, the 5 most important leadership skills had the lowest scores in proficiency, creating a huge leadership gap. So team building and team leadership were rated as very important by 73% of the respondents, and yet those same respondents felt that only 23% of their senior folks were proficient. 71% of these respondents rated the ability to lead and drive change as very important, with only 17% of their teams highly proficient. 69% of the respondents identified communicating well and influencing business stakeholders as being critical, and yet only 18% of their teams were proficient. 67% of them said developing people was very important, and yet only 14% thought that their teams were good at that. And finally, 65% across organizational boundaries was very important, but only 19% of their senior leaders were proficient at that. So the most important skills had the lowest proficiencies. And by the way, this is in spite of spending an average of $32,000 per year for training the top tier of the IT leadership team year over year. In fact, a recent Wall Street Journal article reported that 91% of over 1,200 CIOs surveyed by Deloitte acknowledged lacking at least one of the key skills critical to their success as a tech leader. The CIO Executive Council, in a report titled IT Communication in Crisis, shared a startling statistic that only 4% of IT leaders are highly satisfied with how IT engages with the business. Let me repeat that. Only 4% of IT leaders are highly satisfied with how their organizations engage with their business partners. And at a recent industry conference, P.K. Agarwal, Regional Dean and CEO of Northeastern University in Silicon Valley, said, "Today's IT leaders need to be more reliant on soft skills and emotional intelligence so they can guide complex conversations about the collision of digital transformation with legacy ecosystems." I'd like to share the highlights of a case study from one of my current clients. I had offered them a free initial consultation. And by the way, that's the same consultation that I'm going to offer to you in a moment. We did that consultation, and they were impressed and hired me to do an opportunity assessment with them. I did that assessment and identified 10 immediate operational improvement opportunities. At that point, they could have taken my plan and implemented it on their own, or with another consultant or executive coach of their choice, or they could have utilized me. They recognized that I was their best solution and brought me on board to coach and mentor their leadership team and leadership team members. We worked together for a period of 12 months. At the end of that time, they gave me the testimonial that's on this slide as a LinkedIn recommendation. And their senior VP said, "The effectiveness of Bob's approach was immediately recognizable as the usually chaotic environment here began to settle. Key resources were freed up to lead their groups instead of reacting to the next fire drill. The results are quantifiable. Margins are up, growth is steady and managed, and customer satisfaction has skyrocketed. We continue to rely on Bob for his mentoring." And by the way, when I tell you that this was a period of 12 months, I don't want you to think that this was 12 months of full-time consulting for hundreds of thousands of dollars. This was about 10 to 15 hours of my consulting and coaching time each month, spread out over the entire month, for a total of just tens of thousands of dollars over the entire 12-month period. I coached and mentored their leaders in how to realize these benefits, which is a very high leverage model for your people and your teams. This client began to see results after just the second month of our work together, and the results got stronger and stronger over time. As I said earlier in this webinar, I'm passionate about working with IT teams and IT leaders, so I want to offer you the same free consultation to talk about your company and your IT team. There's no cost and no obligation, and at the end of the call, we'll both know if it makes sense for us to go any further and how we could go about doing that. To request this consultation, call or email me using my contact information on this slide. You can call me at area code 845-418-2839 or email me at bob.cantor@cantorconsultinggroup.com. Either way, please leave me a couple of dates and times that would work for our 20 to 30-minute call. If you do that now, we'll go ahead and get that free consultation call scheduled. I look forward to talking with you.